Hi everybody, this is the Rambling Toffee podcast. I'm Mark. I hope everybody has had a really good Easter weekend and with family and friends and enjoyed, the break and actually, eating lots of chocolate and just basically putting as many calories on as possible. Well, that's what happened to me. So I hope everybody's had a good few days. Anyway, as much as the last few days has been nice to have a break and not be in work or whatever, being with family and friends and everything like that, football comes into the equation. Everton Football Club has been what? What's the point? As I said, I think in my tweet that I put in yesterday, what have they done in the last 3 weeks? What have Everton Football Club? What has the team done in the last 3 weeks? What's the manager done? What's the coaching staff done? What did they do in the last 3 weeks to prepare them for the game on Saturday against Bournemouth when there's a big opportunity to get 3 points on the board, to move up the tables, to start, you know, getting ourselves away from the situation that we are in and we've been in for a while. What did he do on the field? What were they training? What were they doing? And then you see, I'm going to go into the game a little bit in a minute, but one of the things that really frustrate me is the manager. And I'm sorry, I said this in the podcast a couple of weeks ago when I said we need a real reset in the summer, and basically the manager needs to go, the director of football needs to go. If we got the new owners in, that's another story which we'll talk about in a moment. There's more stories going on at the moment, so I'll try and get through everything today in this podcast. But what 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 he said after the match, two instances of what he said. One, they've only had a day to prepare. So what's happened in the last 3 weeks? I can't understand that. Number two, he also says that while in Portugal they basically just did same old, same old. They didn't try anything new, different, or try a different formation, try something different. Nothing. It just was same old, same old. And this is an indicator to me after the game and how that performance was on Saturday. Okay, in the game on Saturday, it was, Seamus came back in, Mikalenko was out, but predominantly that team was the same as it was before we went on this break. And basically, it was the same old performance, launching the ball up to the top to get trying Calvert-Lewin to drop balls onto Harrison and McNeil, who are way, way, way out of form and need to be taken out of the team. But we don't have anybody else to come into the team to actually take on. Danjuma's not there ready to come in to take on, say, a McNeil role or a Harrison role to come in, but they're not. But they need it because they're not performing. And you can see them players, but you would thought the 3 weeks that they had, training and doing what they're doing on the field to try and correct things, trying to build on something, to build some momentum while on the field training, while doing what they need to do to bring it onto the field of play. It wasn't there, and it was just the same old performance. It was just pass at the back, move it, try and get it forward as to Calvert-Lewin to drop it down, knock it down, and try and get our midfielders further forward to try and create opportunities. Yes, we should have had a penalty. That's one moment I can talk about. We said we should have had a penalty, but of course the referee was up against us again as per usual. But it was just like, what'd you do? But it that happened. They score. They pass the ball better. They perform a bit better. They've not been playing well neither, but they have the more of the want. It was like we didn't want it. And there was a hint or a feeling that I had watching the game and what I saw, Downing tools. And basically the tactics and the formation and the way that they've been playing is kind of like, it's not working, boss. So instead of what you would have thought, correcting it on the field, talking to the manager and saying, look, can we do this? Can we try this? Do something different? Obviously, it's not happened. And and the manager has still been the one that's dictating and telling we're going to play this way and this is how we're going to do it because I believe in it and I believe in what I do. Whatever he's believing in is not working. We've always seen it early in the season where it's worked for a short period of time when we went 4 wins on the bounce. And you can probably look back and predict this season, if we didn't have the points deduction and everything else, we would have been mid-table and everything else. We would have been out of sight. And maybe it might have been a different story. But we have not won a game in 15 games. We haven't won a game. We may have drawn a lot of games, but we've not won. If the stats tell you that, everything's telling you why we're in the position that we're in, because we're not winning football matches. And that's the results business. That's what the Premier League is. That's what football's all about. Winning football matches, winning games. And today, me thinking about, what to talk about on this podcast and thinking, I hoped that I could talk today with one positive that we came away with a result against Bournemouth, and that's just given hopefully the players and everybody else a little bit of a boost, and the fans the boost to feel right. Well, maybe we can get some more results. We can get some more wins on the roll in the next few weeks or so. And but you see that you've had 3 weeks break, you've had an opportunity to really get together. Even I'm guessing they probably had a proper break in the sense that they've been away and they've just chilled out and had all that trying to help get themselves psyched and get them back into the swing of things, back into game time and back in trying to get results. But it was like same old. And when I say down in tools, it felt like that. It felt like, you know, we're trying, boss. We're trying with this. It's not working. It just doesn't work. It's not working. And he's sticking with it. And basically, as I mentioned about what he said after the game, the fact that he had a day to prepare, I can understand if you've had like Jared Braithwaite, Seamus Coleman, and Jordan Pickford, and players and Onana probably as well, who've been on international duty, but the rest of the players have not played in international games. What were they doing then? So I can't understand, a day to prepare. I just, you know, it baffles me on that, and it doesn't really, they should still, even with a day to prepare, they should be still going back on the field and putting in a performance of some kind, but they're not doing that. It doesn't feel like that. And we've got a game tomorrow night against Newcastle. That's going to be tough and difficult as well. If I can't see us getting any points against that. I can't. I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible, but it's not happening. I try to be. That's all I hope. I hope that today we might see a better performance from them. Maybe something will get a rub of green. Maybe something will happen. To get us a 1-0 win or something tomorrow night. Maybe. I keep on hoping. And everybody's having this thought, and even on my own mind, thinking, oh, yes, we've got Burnley coming up. We've got a period where we're going to have 3 home games on the bounce. We need to get points from these games. But the way we're playing at the moment, I don't even think we can get any points against Burnley. It just feels like that because it just feels like same old, same old. You'll set up the same way, you'll do the same things, and it's not working. And a proactive manager of any club I've seen, if things are not working, they try something different. And I know early in the season we tried a 4-4-2. It didn't work against Luton. I know we played against Wolves when we had 5 at the back. We tried that and it didn't work. But you may be able to keep the system as it is. But why don't you move something around? Why don't you move the wingers up? Do something different. Have 3 at the go with 3 centre backs again, but make sure your wingers, like bring Nathan Patterson back in, and Mikel maybe just be the defensive person. You don't get forward, but Patterson can get further forward and be wing backs, create more opportunity. I don't know. Try something different. It's worth, but I don't know. He's tried a couple of times, but I keep on going back to this. That he can probably say, well, I've tried this and that, but it's not worked. So I've gone back to what I've seen the team are more comfortable in doing. And if you want to be a Premier League team, you have to do uncomfortable things as well. And if you just think that they're happy doing that, but what I saw on Saturday was that it felt like they're just down tools with it, and they just think, well, it worked for a time, but it's not working because what's happening is the opposition see that our team see that we're set up as the same way and do the same thing. It's just they see it and they think, well, we can just set the way we want to set, and it's just easy for them because we play that week in week out. And when a team is full of confidence and doing really well, you can have playing a certain way with a certain formation and it's working, then you're winning games and you're doing really, really well. But when things are not working for in that game, and maybe you're losing or something's happening, but you are a team that's full of confidence anyway, the players, because they're full of confidence, they can move around. They will adjust themselves. They will try different things themselves because they're confident enough. But at the moment, we have no confidence. The players have no confidence, and it feels like the players have no confidence, started to have no confidence in the manager and the coaching setup because they are the people who have to guide those players. The players have to go onto the field to do a job, but if it's not working, the manager has to then make decisions and say, well, be proactive and try and see something different. Bring a player on, do something different, change things up, do something in the game. But he's not being proactive. He didn't do it against Bournemouth on Saturday. He wasn't proactive enough. He went with same old, same old. He does that all the time. He pulls Calvert-Lewin off, puts Beto on. He does. There is, and okay, our squad is very thin, but you've got players on that bench. There might be young players. Doesn't matter. Give them more opportunity. Why not? They might come on and do something absolutely spectacular, something great. Show that they are good enough to actually play in the first team. But he's not doing that because he is fearful. He's not confident of those young players. And he's busy thinking about the players that he currently has. And he thinks, I'm going to stick with them. They're my players. They're my team. So, after that game and his comments about that he didn't try anything in training and he had a day to prepare, I just thought, what's the point? What have you been doing for 3 weeks with these players? What have you been doing? And these players earn a lot of money per week to do a job. They are supposed to be Premier League players, but they are playing like Championship players. They're playing like a team that's going to go that way, and it feels like it's going to go that way. And so my view is, and let me know in the comments below. Let me know. But his time's up. He needs to move on. But sadly, as I said yesterday, I wish there was, a way that somebody at the top end of the club, Kevin Felwell, who I also feel needs to leave the club, and in the summer he needs to move on because we need as I mentioned before, we need a reset. We need to reset the club. But the problem is, we're still in this battle with a takeover. We still have a second point of charge of breaches, and if so, we'll find out this week about that. The takeover is dragging on and on and on, and the way things are going with that at the moment, it may not be 777 partners taking over. If you've seen documents online regarding MSP could apply. MSP could take a majority shareholding in the club if 777 partners don't pay what they owe to MSP or what they need to pay MSP as part of their conditions to take over the football club, which the Premier League have asked them to do. So they've got another couple of weeks, I believe, or something like that, where if they don't pay that, then it will go into the hands of MSP and Blythe. So that means that they will be majority shareholders. Moshiri will still have a shareholding in the club, but it'll be done in their hands. So they can make a decision if they want to take over the football club, which is up to them. It's in their discretion to do so. But if they do so, they could decide pull the plug on 777 Partners because they know what they are like. We've seen all the stories in the press, and we've seen that they've got legal issues all in America and lots of other places. And they've got credit ratings dropping. They've been there's lots and lots of stories. And I'm not a finance guy, so I'm not going to go full into them. I'm just an Everton fan, just wants to see my team win and do well. That's all I want to do. And I don't want to keep on talking about our finances and takeovers and points deductions that could happen because, of course, the accounts came out yesterday. As I mentioned about Saturday, we felt like an April Fool's Day, but it feels like an April Fool's Day weekend because the accounts came out yesterday. And we are, I think, made double a loss of what we did in the last set of accounts last year of 89 million. And at the moment, the finance people out there, the people like the Esk and Kieran Maguire and many others who know their stuff, are basically saying, take out the calculations and everything else, we may be okay, and we may have not breached that much. So we met our points deduction, if we do have one, it's not going to be a major one. But the reaction yesterday, because the accounts came out and it was that high, and we as fans don't understand how PSR calculations work and how you mitigate this and mitigate that and all this. I'd take these off, take that off to come to that decision that have we breached? Have we? Do we deserve another points deduction? Obviously, the Premier League seem to think that we breached. So because it's part of the same reporting period from the last points deduction that we had on mitigations, if they take mitigations into an effect, we may get 1 or 2 points. I don't know, but that's also something that's going to happen this week, I believe. So we got that ongoing. So we got that plus with 777 Partners, dragging on and being given conditions to actually raise money to pay off MSP, to keep the club going for the rest of the season, and also pay more money into the stadium. So that's at the moment the assumption from Moshiri when he did the letter to, which was a response from the FAB. It said that there's still right partners to come to the club. He's putting the same spiel out there that he did in September, that they're the right people and everything else, and it's on the straight. And straight, we're nearly there. And 777 Partners have come out, gone through responses from the FAB to saying that we'll let you know when we can't say anything until the approval is there, but it's nearly at that point. So everything's up in there, everything's speculated. But when you see that document that was through the Guardian and an Isle of Man company where security has been taken out by Blythe for on the stadium investment, but also on Moshiri's shares. Moshiri knows what's going on, and Moshiri may say that it's 777 Partners and everything else, but this has come out there, and we will find out over the next couple of weeks that will that happen? Will we see MSP taking over the club and not 777 Partners? Because at the end of the day, they may take over and may still decide to go with 777 Partners, but that'll be there for that time. But it's going to be a pivotal April to see where this club goes, because it's at a point where you see the accounts yesterday, and I think is it 331 million in debt or something like that, full on debts and everything else. That money's been investment, obviously, before the money from 777 came in for the stadium came from the capital in the club, so that's been added onto it. So we are way, 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 way in debt, and the feeling is that we are, administration is not far behind. It's not far. We could be in that position soon if things don't get clarified and get sorted out as soon as possible. We're near the end of the season. We've got a team that's not performing. We've got a breach, a second breach that we'll find out what points deduction we're going to get. That could happen. It may not happen. But it could happen. Hopefully, we get 1 or 2 point deduction, or we may not get any. I don't know. But the way I felt yesterday, and the way a lot of people felt, we were going to get another 6 point deduction. It'll probably get appealed, and then it's going until the end of the season to find out if we are still in the Premier League or not. But by that time, Seven Partners may have not taken over the football club. If MSP do take over the football club, maybe that means we may not go into administration, and maybe they, with their funding and their expertise, may decide to take us on and actually take the football club forward, and then look for other investment from other areas. I don't know. I'm just speculating on what could be a positive thing to happen. I think, but at the moment everything's up in the air. I don't know what's going to happen next. Today is a quiet day in the sense that there's no other new breaking news story about Everton Football Club. So we'll see going forward. But yeah, it's just how do you guys think? Because it's just getting tiresome. I mean, I pay my season ticket. I think everybody else who listens to this podcast, you may have a season ticket, go to away games. You know, it's just watching it on TV wherever you are in the world, watching it, watching Everton, and it's week in week out, and it's just like, you know, football. Yes, is a sport, it's a competition, but you support your team because your team you think is good. Yes, you lose football matches. Yes, you draw football matches, but when you go to watch a football game, you go to watch your team play well. And even if we play well and lose, at least we've been entertained. At least I can walk away and say, well, we played all right, but we lost. Be disappointed in one sense, but in another way, we played well. But what we're seeing at the moment, with Dyche at the helm and the tactics and the formation and the way that we play, we've watched that game and it's boring. We don't get entertained by it. There's no excitement. And if they say that you want the fans to get behind the team at home, say at Goodison, it's a two-way street. The players have to go out there, put the effort in performances and fight and get us into it, drive us into it. And when we get into it and we want to be, we see what's going on the field and we see our team playing well and putting the effort in and, doing the best they can, doing the best they possibly can, then we get into that. We get interactive, and it all comes together. That's what it's all about. But at the moment, it just feels like I go to the game. I have one hope in my head, thinking hopefully we'll get a win today. Hopefully we'll play well. Hopefully. And I've been thinking like that week in week. I feel delusional thinking like that week in week out. That just a hope that we'll play well, that we will put a performance in, that we'll score goals and we'll be exciting and play. And the stadium rocking again and the atmosphere being fantastic and everything that you that's what you want. But and I just want to put it out there, the 1878, they're on, X obviously, who organised the banners and everything else and putting everything together. They wanted to get everybody to bring their flags and everything else that they have to the game against Burnley, but it somebody put it out there, and I'll put it out there as well. They do wonderful things, and they've been fantastic, and I have no issue. What they want to do, and they want to galvanise the fan base, get everybody really motivated for the game against Burnley. But it just feels like, well, yeah, we can do that. We've done it before. We've done it many times this season. But as soon as we've done all that, the players just plod along, doing the same thing. The opposition play better than us, and you just sit there and think, you just pull the. What's the point? What's the point? And I pay my season ticket, and I'm paying for next season, and I pay me £720 to go watch Everton, and I want to be entertained. I want to get behind my team. I want to see my team play well. I want to be excited and be hopeful. But as much as I, in my mind, tell myself, oh, hopefully today is going to be the game where we can play well, it's not happening. And that is on, not just the players, it's on the manager. The manager sets the tone. He sets the formation out. He sets the team out the way that he does. Those players have to go and do that role, but they're not doing that role to the best of their abilities, and we're seeing it. And then he goes after the game saying like we had one day to prepare, and we didn't do anything in the Portugal training to try something different. That irates me. But when we watch him in games, he makes his substitutions way late. He does things to his way and how he thinks. He's not proactive enough to think, okay, this is not working in the first half. Let's try something different in the second half. Let's change this or do something different. Try that. If it doesn't work, so be it. But at least you tried something. At least we as fans can say, oh, at least he's tried to do something with that. And then we can say, well, if it's not worked, then obviously it's not working with the players. So it's one of those. And that's why I feel that I don't want to keep on sacking managers year in, year out. But sadly, at this moment in time, we have a rudderless ship. Nobody is guiding us. We've just got an interim board. We've got interim people doing the same thing, same old. Nothing's changed off the field. Nobody's making any big decisions. Nobody's looking at Sean Dyche and going, yes, we can see that the performance has not been very good. So we need to make a decision on him. To make the decision to sack him. But he can't do it because Moshiri has disappeared as much as he's sent to apply to the FAB. But he's an absent owner. He's just sitting there waiting until 777 partners come in and give him some money and take over so he can go off into the distance. And that's all he's doing. And he's not doing it. And can you put it on Colin Chong to make the decision? Can you put it on Kevin Felwell? Well, Sean Dyche's boss is kind of Kevin Felwell, so in the way, Kevin Felwell can make that decision. But as I mentioned, Kevin Felwell needs to leave his role as well because the decisions he's made are not helping in the recruitment set of things, and the academy and everything throughout the academies are not working or not rolling out, bringing young players through the way it should do. So we can see another Jared Bromthwaite, another Anthony Gordon, another Rooney, another Ross Barkley, another young player to come through to come into the first team to get, something, to come into the first team. There isn't anybody coming through because Sean Dyche said there isn't anybody coming through. So if that's the case, then obviously the academy and the under 23, the setup that is throughout that is not working. And that's on Kevin Felwell because he's the one who's put that structures in place. He's put the people in charge. He's put everything in it. And when it comes to recruitment, it's the same scenario. You bring Beto in, who, yes, okay, he's actually doing better than what Calvert-Lewin's doing. And he scored on Saturday against Bournemouth. So he is scoring goals, but not many. He's not, but a lot of the time he's the ball's bouncing off him and everything else. He's a bit clumsy and everything else, but he's doing a better job than Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, and that's saying something. But you spend, is it 30 million on him? Okay, we've got him on a corner, and we'll pay. Is it this season? This summer that we'll pay money off that. So that's more money going out of the club. But he's not been an instant hit of a success. He was brought in as obviously a striker to score goals and to get himself in position, and that's not happened. He's scoring goals, but not as many you would expect. And you bring Ashley Young in, same story. on a free. You know, what impact is he? What's he going to achieve? Yes, just his experience. But we've seen in games this season that he's way off the pace. And he has the occasional good game here or there, but a lot of the time it's not. Jack Harrison, I was really excited that he was coming. That I thought was a good decision, a good deal. But he's been very, very poor this season. And Chimiti is a young player who I think is a good bit of business that he has done, but he's not ready to be starting first team games. He's for the future, and that's all well and good. But we want the now. We want the players, and if there's young players who have been sitting on that bench, constantly just waiting for an opportunity, like Lewis Dobbin, you have four against him, but you need to give him a little bit more game time. You've got Nathan Patterson, that's from a previous anyway, that's before Kevin Felwell, but this something has to give here, and for me, you need someone with fresh impetus to completely rip up and reset the whole of the football club, not just the first team, all the way down to the academy, and you need to restructure it in a way that you get the right people doing the right jobs, bringing the right, looking for the right talent, the right young players to fit Everton Football Club and the way that we're going to play. And that, so at the moment, when you see how we play in the first team, in no disrespect, I don't want our teams throughout the academy and the under 23s all playing the same formation, same tactics, the same ways. That is not the right way, and that's why my feeling is that Sean Dyche is not the right man for the job. He's done his job. He was a short-term manager for Everton Football Club, and his job was to keep us up. He did that, and thank you for that, and I do appreciate that. That's what he's done, but that's how far he goes as a manager, and he's not kicked on as a manager. He's not improved the team. Even I know it's still thin and still small, but he's not improved it. He's not tried to make it better. Because there are like Luton Town, there's players who you look at them, they are like a small team. You know, they come from the Championship, and basically they're doing a lot. They're playing a lot better football than we are, and they're putting a little bit more of a fight. Yeah, they're going to struggle, and they may still go down. But the model there is that they're trying to improve. They're trying to do something different. They're trying to compete. It just feels like we should be here, but because we got a points deduction, we've been pulled back down. But it doesn't matter if we're there. We need to be further up. We need to be growing, going upwards. Keep on going upwards, not keep on going downwards. And all I'll say about football is this: forget about points deductions for a second. Is that you can start the season fantastically well, and I've seen this start fantastically well, get a load of massive points. Everyone's surprised, really pleased, think, oh, well, going really well, and then all of a sudden you start losing games, and you go downwards and downwards and downwards and downwards, and that's how it is. Everton, if they didn't have a point deduction, would have been mid table at best, and everyone would have been happy with that. But what has happened is that yeah, we would have been mid table, but we've not won in the last 15 games. So what that means is we would be still doing what we do. We're not going upwards. Where people for a moment thought we were going upwards towards above Chelsea and going up in that direction, we would have been going. We're now going downwards and downwards and downwards. And I've said all along points deductions. It's not helped in one sense, but when we got that point deduction, obviously before that we were doing reasonably okay. But when we got the points deduction, the players seemed to pick up a little bit more, and we got the 4 wins on a bounce. But they should have, that was full of confidence. The points deduction or anything else shouldn't matter what you do on the football field, and basically they should have just kept on going. but it's not happened that way. And I don't know. For me, I just want to see this club in a positive, going in a positive direction, and I can't see any of it at the moment. I hope to see it soon, but when will it be? I just hope when we've got Newcastle tomorrow night, that we can get something there. I don't know, but it feels like in my own mind that we're not going to come away with any kind of result there. Burnley, I'll be there obviously. Burnley is a great opportunity because they're bottom of the table, second from bottom of the table, and they're a great opportunity that we can get 3 points from. But in games I've seen of them lately, they've been picking up points here and there, and they've been fighting and battling, so they're going to be tough. So if the assumption that we think, oh yeah, we should easily get some points here, don't always think that way because that's we should have we thought against playing Bournemouth, we should have got something there, we should have got something against other teams this season, and when we thought we should have won, we should have been an easy win. Never happened, has it? So anyway, on that note, that's my podcast for today. My rambling thoughts. What do you think? Give me your opinion below. Let me know what you think. Am I rambling a bit too much? Are we just going to continue going downwards and downwards and downwards? Do you think Sean Dyche should be gone now, or do you think it should be? Well, will it be made when we have new owners? And that probably might be the end of the season when that decision will be made. Do you think Kevin Farewell should be moved on as well? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Um, so on that note, thank you again for listening to the podcast. I do appreciate it, and hopefully next week, the next podcast that I do next Monday, we've gotten some runs and gotten some 3 points, much needed wins, and we can start moving up the table. Hopefully, find more about the points deduction if we've got one. Hopefully, find about the takeover if it's going to take place, what's going to happen next on that. There's all sorts of things going on. And the only thing I want to say before I go, I just want to thank the Fab out there for what they did last week with the Zoom call with the fans. They're doing everything they possibly can to get as much information out of the club as possible to find out what is going on regarding the takeover and everything else. So I want to send my thanks out to them. So on that, it was really informative, and I hope we're going to hear more of them as we go forward. So on that note, I want to thank you and everybody for listening, and have a good week. Fingers crossed for tomorrow night. And I'll speak to you all again next Monday. So take care. Bye bye.